Do you know your weak point, huh? Where is it? Where is it within the mind? The weak point of everyone, which is the point of creating karma, projecting on karma, which is the knowing itself. The significance in knowing is the weak point, is the starting point. Significance in knowing, something in the knowing, that is the beginning of samsara. That is the place where it creates wandering mind, wandering spirit. What is it that is misleading the mind? Actually, it is the state of desire, being obsessed with significance and meanings within knowing and seeing, which is the weak point of everyone. The desire, wanting to get, to be, to have, to become, to obtain, to gain. And that's where it creates karma. The significance in knowing is the beginning of the creation of karma in the mind at the start. And practicing only creating karma, practicing just the creation of karma, that which is giving ending. Everything is from disengaging itself. Then it will have nothing to do with knowing or not knowing naturally. This is not to be obsessed with practicing the knowing, the creation of karma, creating samsara on and on. So when it becomes a karmic habit of the knowing, we have to proceed simultaneously with it. That which has nothing to do with engaging or disengaging simultaneously with whatever that exists. Knowing, seeing, all the fabrication of the mind, proceed simultaneously with it, because it has been karmic habit already. Conclusion with cutting through with it simultaneously, from disengaging itself, not attached to the non-attachment itself, not grasping for the non-grasping itself simultaneously. It's not about letting go of the body-mind. Purify through the emptiness, dissolving it, not to eliminate it. From not involved within the non-involvement itself simultaneously, this will automatically purify the attempt to begin and to end. Everything is from not involved within the non-involvement itself, disengaged from disengagement itself simultaneously. This will purify the attempt to begin and to end automatically. It will purify the attempt to attach or detach automatically. It will purify the circling minds automatically from not involved in the non-involvement itself until the whole samsara is ended, according to not involved within the non-involvement itself. Let's proceed like this until the whole samsara is ended, according to the essence. Then the ending will be all together simultaneously. This is not to be obsessed, to use the mind towards one another only. This is not to be obsessed to use knowing towards one another only. Let's make a conclusion to purify simultaneously with it. Simultaneously making a conclusion to end it simultaneously, from not attached to the non-attachment itself, together with knowing or not knowing, seeing or not seeing, from not involved within the non-involvement itself, like this. This will purify the attempt to begin and to end, ending the circling minds simultaneously. Proceeding simultaneously, there will be a purification of the extinction simultaneously. From not involved within the non-involvement itself, this is the purification of the extinction and the emptiness. This is not to proceed with something simultaneously with the mind. This is purified through the emptiness. It's not about proceeding with something altogether. Otherwise, it will be stuck with just karma, collective karma. Karma of the same family root cause, collective karma. Whatever that has been rejecting towards one another as a karma, whatever it is, it what matters. It will be a karmic difficulties of conflicts towards one another, lifetimes across lifetimes, without declaring an ahosi, declaring from the removal. This kind of karmic difficulties will be blocking, helping one another towards ending, blocking the great compassion for one another, blocking one another. It will be the emotions of karmic difficulties that creates frequencies of suffering, torturing one's own mind and heart on and on endlessly. Therefore, declare renunciation and revocation of it, and giving ahosi, giving forgiveness, asking for forgiveness and giving forgiveness for all the inappropriate emotions towards one another, delusively rejecting one another, it is inappropriate, delusively hating or loving one another, these are inappropriate emotions. Just giving ahosi and asking for ahosi for one another, because it will blocking everything. Such emotions will create frequencies, unbearable feelings, creating difficulties in the mind, on and on. Such a habit have to be declared removal and cancellation of all love or hatred, all the delusion to accept or reject anything, because this is the hindrances that blocking the great compassion, it creating the separating lines between oneself and all things. These will not be balanced with the great compassion towards everything. All the hatred from the past will again happen again. All the blockage towards one another, after being born again, it will happen again towards one another. The same as when liking one another. This is karmic difficulty that is always blocking the body minds from the great compassion, because it's grasping just for oneself. It's only for the sake of oneself. The blessing through the great compassion will not be balanced towards the whole. For example, if you hate the beings from hell or the hungry ghosts, you cannot bless them. If you hate the bully, it creates separating line. You cannot bless them. All the love and liking and pleasures, you will dwell within such a thing and being bound with it. Therefore, you stop there. wherever you love, wherever you are bound with. It's impossible to be balanced with the great compassion with everything. Therefore, you need to ask for forgiveness. Whoever you love or hate, declare removal and cancellation of all desires and expectations from all of these concepts and belief values, and declare forgiveness, giving and asking for forgiveness, both. Then the great compassion will proceed in the way that is gracefully. The great compassion for all the earth, air, water and fire, sorrows, samsara or not. Great compassion of the purification of emptiness will be balanced with everything in nature and elements, from not attached to the non-attachment itself, from not involved within the non-involvement itself. It will be shared with everything evenly, whether it is also animals, no exception. It will be balanced and shared evenly, because there is no belief values that create the separating lines within oneself, not creating from such a hindrance from the blessing through the great compassion within oneself. Disliking as well is a preference. It's the belief values. Liking as well is the belief values, is the preference. Disliking is like a preference in disliking. This will torture oneself without removal from it, because it's gonna be in depth within the mind. It is the projection that is depth deepening inside. This has to be released. The projection has to be released. For example, if you projecting through the supernatural power, it will not be released. So disliking as well is a projection from the opinions, from the meanings. Without removal from it, it will not be released. It will be deepened and carried on in its way, on and on, blocking oneself, on and on, always irritating within the mind, coming back again this kind of emotions, blocking the great compassion itself, blocking by the hindrances blocking the great compassion. Hindrances is the blockage. Niwon, hindrances, means blockage, blocking, obstructing, is the obstruction for the great compassion. Being deluded to yes and no, liking or disliking, like or dislike, this is the preference by the belief values. For Hluang Po, he doesn't have such like or dislike or hatred. Anyone who is scolded by him has such a karma. Because Hluang Po even scolded anyone, still have a smile, because such a karma is their karmic difficulties. They used to scold the graces, the great perfections. Therefore, it's the kind of their karmic difficulties. They have to pay back in such a way. This is not hatred. No matter how much he scolds someone, it is not from hatred. It is karmic difficulties that has towards the graces. This is like a reflection, so that the person can realize and see like a mirror. Whatever that is scolded is reflected through their own behaviors, so that they can see and realize and acknowledge it. that is one's own karma. Even the emotions of metta, loving kindness, is just a formed up. It is not something to be attached to. So all the relationships for how many eras, Buddha eras, this is the vows that we have together in blessing beings, great blessed fortune that we have had, connected and related, karma related, becoming husband, wife, fathers, mothers, friends. These are the blessed fortunes, the vows that are formed up temporarily. These are not something to be fixated upon. This is not to be fixated with the status of fathers, mothers, husbands, wives, sons and daughters. These are the great blessed fortunes and great compassion that we formed up as such temporary relationship to bless all beings is not something to be fixated upon. Is it clear? We form up oneself. Oneself is not to take in oneself. It is not for the sake of oneself. This oneself also temporary existing in the status of just and zoom up, temporary existing, sometimes being delayed. When there is a fixation, is a delay. Understand? It is temporary, but it can be delayed, and it can be delayed with the fixation for eons of times as well. That's why it's a delay. It is temporary, but for a very long time. Many have asked Luang Por, do you love me? Luang Por don't know how to say, how to answer, because whatever that he's giving, it's just metta, sunyata, for all the atoms and nature and everything. To love someone or something is like stealing. People have asked Luang Por, do you love me? Always asking, do you love me? Luang Por is so lazy to say anything about it and not want to reveal anything. For Luang Por, he is not at this point about love or hate. Even scolding someone and having the green eyes towards someone is not with hatred, because Luang Por blessed the whole samsara, even hell beings. The behaviors with the graces from the past will be reflected by Luang Por. Scolding. Some Luang Por will talk nice to them, some not nice. It's according to one's own behaviors towards the graces. This is reflected by one's own karma and karmic difficulties. It belongs to them. Whatever that Luang Por behave towards someone in a good way, also that reflects the person's behaviors towards the graces. It is like that. It is like that. This is karmic connections, blessed fortune relationship. This is simple thing that Luang Por need to poke. And whoever that have the vows to share the great compassion with Luang Por, with the graces forever and ever, for eons of times. Therefore, they have to be related to Luang Por in certain ways. Sometimes become the wife or the husband of Luang Por or the children of Luang Por, whichever lifetime. Sometimes becoming fathers, mothers, or siblings. This is the relationship through the vows, which is temporary. Therefore, it's not something to be fixated upon each lifetime. And we passing away from all the formed up of body mind. Therefore, it's always temporary. But if deludedly fixated upon it, it will create a delay for oneself. Because whenever there is a fixation, it's going to be a delay. Temporariness in the way that is for a lengthy time. Temporariness have to be so quick, passing so quickly. Why is it so long? Because you're clinging with the status of being a father or mother, husband or wife. This is not normal temporariness. This is a very lengthy temporariness. Longpo has to open up whatever that is covered. Some have to be born as a father and mother, husbands and wives. But being fixated to such status and relationship, karmic relationship, it can be a delay. It won't be forever. However, it will be cut through by the essence. Help cut through the deluded knowing to help from the delay. However, it will be total cut through. That's why in this samsara, there is uncountable fathers and mothers. This person or that person could be your father and mother. It's uncountable. Husbands and wives, children, siblings are full in this samsara. What is this? It's from karmic assumption, karmic relationship, blessed fortune relationship, perfection relationship. This is all about relationship, temporary relationship. The foundation is temporariness. However, whenever you make a vow, it can be projected with your power of the mind, wanting to be like this forever. This is gonna be a temporariness that is so delayed for a lengthy time. If you ask to help end for samsara, not to become wife forever in every lifetime, that's gonna be a very delay. Or to become a child for every lifetime, that's gonna be a damage, big burdens. Longpo has to raise you up every lifetime. Let others raise you some other lifetimes, okay? Make a new vow. Let there be cutting through deluded knowing or enlightenment for every lifetime for samsara. Because when there is a wrong vow, it could obstruct the great compassion within oneself. In order to bless beings and samsara, you will just bless your own families, your own siblings, your own children, blessing only your fathers and mothers and your followers. You cannot bless samsara. You need to change your vow. Just poking, just revealing this, okay? Whatever you see here is just a fake form and formlessness, body mind. It just assumed up temporarily. You want Longpo to be fixated and grasp for anything? The essence has been founded by the enlightenment of the Buddha. It's not about grasping. How can we grasp something that is ungraspable? It's impossible. If you don't have the foundation of the enlightenment, you just kind of be blind to grasp one another. You think that you can, but you can't, because death will take you away as usual. Therefore, love and hatred, you need to declare removal and cancellation from all of these, and for all the wishes and praying. Otherwise, you're gonna be so narrow with just love and hatred. This is the hindrance for the great compassion. Instead of being extensive to bless the whole samsara, because you're gonna be stuck with just your own realms of existence. Humans just being in the human realms, not to open up towards extensively towards all realms of existence, 31 and 32 realms. Being stuck with just being angels. The great compassion is not shared to all realms. This is derived from the practice and praying and projecting on for grasping, for obtaining. That's why it's a delay. Our meeting doesn't mean that we just meet at this life. Whatever you have made a vow or pray from the past with Luang Por, this is uncountable lifetimes that we have encountered. But you have to change and correct your vows, which makes you delay. You have to declare removal of it. Your vow that is to help end samsara with Luang Por, with the graces, that's okay. This is gonna be the team shared blessing together for samsara. This is graceful. So right now, it's like a measure that you are sure with Luang Por or delay with him. When you are fixated, you're gonna be delayed. Make yourself delay with your fixation and attachment. But if you are sure, that means you help all realms of existence through cutting deluded knowing, through the enlightenment. This is sure. Helping samsara towards ending, that is surely. So, are you sure with him, or you're gonna be delayed? Being delayed is like stuck with liking, disliking, hating, or loving Luang Por. Staying with just wanting him or not wanting him, that is a delay. Circling with just delusive attachments within oneself, which is narrow. Being sure is to help end for samsara together with Luang Por. Are you clear with these points? If you are clear, please sign the divorce paper, everyone. Stop the war, divorce from war, from conflicts, from quarrels. Actually, stopping all the liking, disliking, loving and hatred. Stopping and divorce from all this. Okay? Divorce from all these matters. It's not about liking or disliking.
เลยบ้าเต็มที่เลย